Hey guys, it's Mishal and you're watching Q&A with Mishal, episode number 9. Now, frankly speaking, I don't know what question I'm going to answer. We're just going to find out as we go. I sincerely hope that you like this episode and you like my answers, okay? Now, let's not waste our time. Let's jump right into it. Rahi, what's my question number 1?
Okay, so the first question for the day is why should people invest in the personal growth?
Okay, so let's first understand what personal growth and personal development stand for. What really happens once you invest your own time and money into growing yourself? You become a better human being, okay? More things are possible out of you, and you see challenges and the trial and tribulations of life in a different light, okay? You are basically training yourself to see things as they are, not worse than they are. Now, let me again just give you an example from my college days. I know that you guys are sort of sick and tired of the story about my stories about the school and the colleges, but again, I'm actually really grateful for the struggles and the internal problems that I went through when I was in school and colleges, because I'm driving a lot of my content out of those days. Now, when I stepped into the college, I immediately again realized that everyone around me are extremely talented, okay? The only thing I really know when I stepped into college to have to work extremely hard, okay? Because everyone around me, they went to better schools, okay? They came from a better backgrounds. So some of the common feelings and the emotions I was feeling on a regular basis was I was always inferior of other people, okay? That affected my self-esteem, that affected my confidence. So every time teachers are going to sort of ask me something, I would actually pray very silently that please do not ask me. Right? I was always sitting in the back bench, and I'm always trying to sort of fly under the radar, and that really happens when you don't know, when you're not a confident human being. Understand that even though you have sort of some amazing grades in school and the college, anytime you're gonna have to sort of start something new. Let's say that you are sitting for the most important job interviews of your life, okay? You need to exert some level of confidence. You have done amazingly well in your school, but again, if you don't know how to sort of communicate the message with some sort of a confidence, you are not going to get the best deal. If you are an entrepreneur, okay, you have this amazing idea that is going to change the course of this human race, but if you don't know how to communicate your message, okay, in the language, in the tonality that other people can sort of understand, you're gonna have an extremely difficult time changing the world, okay? And that's why personal development is an extremely important part of this equation, okay? So as I said, that when I got into college, I realized that I'm gonna have to sort of work on myself, otherwise I'm always going to have a difficult time making a living. So I basically went into the shell and started working on myself. Understand this, you are the best investment that you can invest in. Okay, if you are hotter than the stock market, okay, you are better than the real estate, okay, you are better than the mutual funds. So, and I actually believe in this philosophy and by Jim Rohn, and he was one of the earliest motivational speaker and motivational leader in the United States. He basically said that the formal education is going to make you a living, but if you work on yourself, if you self-educate, it is going to make you a fortune. So I actually started working on myself, and the way I basically started working on myself, because again, as I said, that I was going through massive struggles, I was always underconfident. Every time I'm closer to the date of exam, I'm always nervous. Okay, and let me tell you this, fear is not great for your grades. But then I made a decision in my first year of college that, okay, I am now absolutely okay if I'm not topping the class. Okay, I do not have to have high distinctions. I do not want to have the distinction. As a matter of fact, I am okay with the first class as long as I'm actually participating in the other competitions as well. So I participated in the debate competition. I participated in the elocution and the best business idea competition. But the way I went about the personal development is because I was going through a lot of struggle and I did not have people in my life I could go to for a proper genuine advice, because they would never understand the struggles I was going through, because they never actually had to make the decision that I was making, right? Even though they wanted the best things for me, but they just did not have the answer for my struggle, because they never had to take that path. So I leaned to books, right? And at that time we did not have the YouTube. Okay, I'm talking about 2004. People were not sort of consuming content on the Facebook and the Instagram or even the YouTube. So I actually leaned to books and I started looking for the answer in those books. I started investing my own pocket money buying those books. Okay, I was always a terrible reader. I was always a slow reader, but then I was not reading those books to finish the books. I was just looking for the answers. So that's how I really got into personal development thing, and it paid me major dividends. Now I am a completely different person than I was literally 15 years ago. Any of my friends from the college who are watching these videos, I don't think so they would identify me now, right? I'm a completely different person, right? And this is what I believe. If you have massive goals, great aspirations, you are going to have to sort of transform yourself into a different person who can actually achieve those goals and aspiration, right? So, and that's why personal development is really, really important. Now, what's the opposite of personal development? Now, if you think that, because this is what my belief system when I was in school as well, I thought that education is going to become my way out, right? Education is going to save me. Okay, whatever that I'm going to study in school and colleges is literally going to last me for about 100 years. But again, anyone who's only actually acquiring the academic knowledge, okay, all they had was the academic knowledge. That academic supremacy always solved the problems with them. Okay, they don't know how to sort of see the problem. They are sort of, when things go really well, okay, they're really happy, and when things go down, they are really depressed, right? Because up until that moment, their grades had solved 90% of their problems. But for me, it wasn't the case. I was an average student throughout in school and the college, so I really had to rely on the other skills. Yeah, and this is why personal development is extremely important. As I said, like when you're about to, the reason a lot of freshers are not getting the money that they deserve, because they have a bit of a tough time communicating what they've learned in school and the colleges, right? And that's why, and anything that you're going to start in the future that requires other skills, other soft skills, right? You have to have a different perspective. Okay, you need to see the problems in a different light. Are you genuinely seeing problems as the opportunities? And understand that what really happens when you're actually working on yourself, when you're actually reading the book, it is actually giving the confidence. The reason it is giving you the confidence, because when you read the stories of other people who went through more struggles than you ever had to sort of go through, they come from the worst background, but then they succeeded. Okay, and now it gives you a bit of a confidence that if that person could do it, if this person could come from the rags, okay, this person had the worst parents in the world, or he's surrounded with some really bad people, but then he was still able to succeed in life. There is no way in the world with your background and with your kind of mindset, okay, why can't you do it, right? It gives you the confidence, it validates your dreams. Okay, because when you are looking for the answers in the book, right, it gives you a hope that if that person can do it, there is no one reason in the world that you can't do it yourself, right? And that's what you need. Okay, and that's why I think that when you invest your own money, your own time into the personal development, it's going to pay you the dividends. So before you go out and start investing into the other businesses, start investing in the mutual funds, start investing in the stock market or real estate, start investing on yourself. Okay, and that's my appeal to everyone.
So my question number 2 is, when you start something new, it feels like you're pulling from all the directions. You're working around the clock, and that takes away all the time from family and friends. as a result, you tend to feel guilty about it. So, my question here is, how can we achieve work and personal life balance?
Okay, so now let me give you an example. Let's say that you're starting your own business, okay? Now, you were an employee of the company and you just made a switch and now you are an entrepreneur. Anything that you are going to start for the first time, okay? The first thing it is going to do is going to change your personal life radically, okay? Now, your work-life balance, okay, goes out of the window. Now, because when you start in your own business, you are a sole entrepreneur, right? And you do not have a massive levels of resources, financial resources. You do not have one job. You have 5 to 6 different full-time jobs. You are not actually working 40 hours a week anymore. You are actually working 70, 80, 90, 100 hours a week. If this really scares you, you should not ever become an entrepreneur. When I started my business, I was the one who was doing the marketing. I taught myself how to do the digital marketing. I taught myself how to write a blog. I was the one who was making the video, and sometimes it took me 7 to 8 hours to record one video. And then I taught myself how to do the editing. I was the one who was actually getting in proximity of the decision maker, and I was the one who was driving to the appointments and doing the session with my clients. I was doing it in Brisbane. I was actually flying to Melbourne and Sydney to do those sessions, right? So naturally, what really happens, it affects your lifestyle radically. Now you do not have the tolerance for bullshit. You do not have the tolerance to get into any verbal argument with people who are making you feel guilty about your choices. Now you know your priority. Now at that point in your life, your business, the thing that you have started, is your number one priority. The other things which are less important takes the back seat. Let's talk about the people who are really most important to your life. Let's say that you have kids and you're living with the parents and again your spouse. Okay, they need your time, but they do not need 24 hours of your time. All you need to do is you need to sit them down and you have to paint them a real picture where you at. They need to understand that this is a new business and it's probably gonna take 3 to 4 years before you start getting the traction, before you have that extra fund to hire other people, and now you can start delegating the work that you do not want to do. But until that moment, you're gonna have to keep putting in the work, but also make sure that you do not isolate yourself with people who are really, really important to you, right? If you can give your spouse 1 or 2 hours a day, really quality hours a day, where you're not talking about the business, and again, it is going to be really hard to do that, because I remember that when I started my business, I was all about my business. Like, I was thinking about the various aspects of my business 24/7, even on the weekends. Sometimes I'm going out with my spouse and they are, or going out with my friends. They are having their own conversation, and I'm actually thinking about certain aspect of my business. Right? It occupies. It has to consume you. If something has to work before that happens, it has to consume you. Right? It is just the way it is. I don't know how to sugarcoat it, right? But again, you're gonna have to work extremely hard to make sure that whatever the time you have given them, you try and be there your 120%. They don't need 24 hours of your time. If you give your spouse 2 quality hours a day or 1 quality hour a day, okay, they're happy with it. Okay, if you sometimes, like your parents, all they need is a really good conversation once a day. So I make sure that even though I'm extremely busy, okay, I just call my parents once a day. Okay, I have a really good 20 to 25 minute conversation with them over the phone, and they're satisfied. If you have a kid, your kid doesn't need to see you all the time in the house. Okay, if they have something over the weekend, just make sure that you're spending good quality time with your kid and they're all good, right? So understand this: if you're going to start something new, if you're going to do something for the first time, the first few years are going to be really turbulent. Okay, you're going to be working, as I said in the beginning, you're not going to be working 40 hours a week. You're going to be working 60, 70, 80 and 100 hours a week. If you're working 40 hours a week, that's a part-time job. So don't allow other people to make you feel guilty about the work that you are putting in. because it's okay if they don't understand your business. They don't have to. Okay, it is not their dream, it is not their passion, so they're never ever going to understand the struggle that you are going through. But don't allow them to make you feel guilty about the work that you are putting in. Okay, so detach yourself with any concept of work-life balance. It doesn't exist.
So my question number 3 is, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Wow, this is really interesting. So this is what I would actually tell my younger self. Just to chill, okay? Just relax a little bit and start doing things for the right reason. As I've said, and I've put it on the camera so many times, that I've actually made a decision pretty early in my life that when I grow up, I may have sort of 10,000 problems in my life. Money is not going to be one of them. So every decision I made when I was in school was revolved around how much money I was going to make out of this. So when I was in my school, I found out that doctors make a lot of money. Okay, so I decided that, okay, I'm going to be a doctor, right? And I was reasonably okay with my studies, and academically, yes, I was okay. But I was not really curious around science. I did not want to save the lives of millions and millions of people. I just wanted to be a doctor because doctors make a lot of money. The same thing I've done was when I was in high school. I thought, okay, I can't be a doctor because my grades are not really good. So then I've settled for, okay, I'm going to be a chartered accountant because chartered accountant makes a lot of money as well. I was interested in accounting. I used to teach my friends accounting, but the moment I finished my college, okay, the moment I stepped into my university for when I was doing my master's in accounting, I realized I can't do this 24/7. I like accounting. I'm not in love with accounting. I can't do this over the weekend, okay? So up until that moment, I was making all the decisions based on how much money I can get out of this. So what really happened is, because I always wanted to make a lot of money, instead of spending my lot of time in the present moment studying, okay, being curious about science, being curious about accounting, and just giving myself an opportunity to fall in love with the subject, I was daydreaming all the time, okay? Once I become a doctor, what kind of lifestyle I'm going to live, okay? What kind of car I'm going to drive, what kind of house I'm going to live in. But when I was doing that, I was spending obnoxious amount of my time in the future, right? And while I was doing it, I was clearly pissing on the present moment because I was not making things happen, okay? I was not studying, okay? So I was going back and forth of excitement because I was always thinking about the future, and then the moment I bring my attention back into the present moment, I haven't even started studying, so now I'm anxious. There's a lot of anxiety, right? So I would just ask myself, okay, that don't worry about the money right now, okay? How your education has got nothing to do with how much money you are going to make in the future, right? The society has sold us this narrative that if you want to make a lot of money, okay, if you really want to help a lot of people financially, you have to do really, really well in the school and the colleges, because I tell you, I've been working over the last sort of 15 years non-stop, right? And I can tell you from my own personal experiences that I've seen people who have dropped out of the high school, okay, they have not finished the graduation, and or some people who are actually flunked their way through their graduation, they are making obnoxious amount of money, they are doing really well in the life, okay? But then there are people who have bachelor's degree and they were absolutely killing it in school, okay? They were the favorite kids of the teachers, okay? They were absolutely killing it they were university toppers in the college and the university, and then now they are struggling to make the end meet. So your education's got nothing to do with how much money you are going to make, right? So I'm just gonna give myself a little bit, if I could sort of talk to my 18-year-old self, I'm just gonna give him this understanding. Do things for the right reason. Find something that you really want to do for the rest of your life without worrying about the money. The money is just a byproduct of the value you bring in the marketplace. Just put all your focus, energy, and time into getting really great at something. Okay, and if I can talk to anyone who's going through the exact same struggle, okay, who are in school and the colleges and they're nervous and stressed about their future, this is what I'm going to tell them. Stop worrying about the money. Okay, money, eventually you're going to start making money, but you have to be really good at what you do. Okay, do things for the right reasons, and that's it.
So the last question for today is, what are your thoughts around unpaid internships?
So there are two sides of argument that we really need to look into. Let's look at the entire thing from the point of view of an employer, the person who's actually hiring an intern. Now, let's say that you're an employer, right? And you basically want to hire an intern to help you out with some of the business operations, right? So what are your expectations out of an intern, right? Obviously, you're going to teach that person a lot, okay? You basically want to teach and instill the work ethics you need, their loyalty, okay? You basically want to control some of the hours they're going to put into your business, you put into your vision, right? So I'm not saying that you offer them a mid-level position or you give them the top money, but give them something so you have their loyalty, right? No one is expecting that you're gonna put them in the nicest office in the building, right? They're not going to get all the incentives of the business, but at least pay them something. So when you're actually talking about your experience, when you are trying to teach them something, they have your attention. Now, there is another point of view, from the point of view of an intern, right? Understand this, whatever that you have studied and learned over the last 16 years in school and college, right? Everything is theoretical. It holds no value in the marketplace. For 90% of the students, their education finishes the moment they finish their education. They need to understand that the moment you step out of a college, this is where the real education begins, okay? As I said in my previous answer, right? Do not make the decision based on how much money you are going to make out of it. You have a decision to make, okay? What is best for you? Just because you have really good grades in school and the colleges so now you're not entitled to ask for the top money. Understand that whatever that you have learned in school, in the college is theoretical. You don't know how to use that information and turn that information into the tangible results. You're gonna have to learn the ropes, okay? So do not make the decision based on how much money you can get out of this employer for the internship. You are not buying a Ferrari with whatever the money he decides to pay you. Your number one priority at this stage is to know how the marketplace works, learn the ropes of your field, right? And once you have a bit of an edge, okay, you have to understand the importance of work ethics, because let's be really real about this thing. In school and the colleges, they don't teach you about the work ethics. Okay, your vocabulary in the college is not extended. Okay, our vocabulary in the school and the college is extremely limited. Okay, you need to learn how the marketplace works, how to use the information that you have and turn it into something really tangible, and that's gonna take time. Don't expect that you're gonna buy a Ferrari or you're gonna buy your house from that salary. Okay, so from the point of view of an employer, pay that intern something. Okay, so you can actually have the loyalty. You can control their timing, okay? And then from the point of view of the person who is actually looking for the internship, do not make the decision based on how much money you're going to make out of it, what position they are offering you. The reality is you are basically starting from the scratch. The moment you step in the marketplace, you're starting from the scratch. And that's my 2 cents. So that's the wrap, guys. This was Q&A with Mishal, episode number 9. Now, guys, these are your questions. I'm answering them. Now, if you want me to answer any of your questions in regards to mindset, peak performance, how to get the best out of yourself, how to get the best out of your people, how to get yourself motivated and excited every day, do not forget to put your questions in the comment section, and I'm going to try my best to answer those questions in the next episode. Thanks for your time. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you next time.
Bye.